to episode 11 of the Culture Cousins podcast. I'm Tiffany,
I'm Zerrina.
and we are two cousins criticizing the culture, and we know you can relate. Thank you for tuning in to hear this episode. Just want to say from the beginning, be sure to like, subscribe for more content, share this video with your friend or your socials, and thanks for your support.
We're just gonna start with like our little mental check-in that we always do. Um, I've been doing good this week. Just been trying to get like positive energy and just staying really focused and like really like trying to like be more creative and find more creative outlets and take time to like for self-care. And for me, self-care is having a creative outlet other outside of this. I like to paint and stuff like that. So I've been spending more time doing that and drawing and stuff. So that's been making me like really boosting my mood a lot. Um, and yeah, that's really all I've had going on. Like it's been kind of a normal week. I've been spending a lot of time with my family and stuff like that, which I've enjoyed. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I had going on.
Um, okay. For me, I've been feeling a little more upbeat. A lot of times, like I guess, like well, recently prior to the most recent time, I've been feeling a little like drained and just like tired. But that's starting to turn around. I've been trying to kind of improve my eating habits.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to it's not perfect yet, but I've just been trying to reduce the amount of like junk food and stuff like that I intake, and I've been noticing a difference. I was doing really good like up until today.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Um, but and I want to get back in the gym probably
Mm-hmm.
soon, maybe sometime this week. Um, but that's why I want to get my hair braided because braids are like the best gym style for me. Like anything
Mm-hmm.
else is a complete struggle, and I hate it.
Right.
Like last time I stopped going to the gym, it was because I took my braids out. Like it's that
Mm-hmm.
serious. Um,
Dang.
but so I've been trying to eat
Maybe you
healthy.
should try wearing like a head wrap or something. That's what I would do. Or something like
Yeah,
that, like a head wrap or something like that.
yeah. I don't know. It's just because I feel like with the braids, it's like I still have my style, but like I can put it up and like I don't
Mm-hmm.
have, and it's still done when I come out. I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I don't know, but I want to start that back soon. I've been kind of well, I do a lot of walking anyway, just because I got Miko. But just trying to tune into that. I've also started like taking a little more vitamins, and I feel like that's improving my internal uh, health. Like I feel like a little more energized when I
Mm-hmm.
wake up and stuff. So that's great. And then so today I fell short because, and let me tell you, I called my mom to like see if she could give me some like motivation to keep me on track. And I said, I've been doing really good, like, with my eating, trying to improve my eating habits. But, I feel I'm this close to getting on that phone and ordering a pizza. I'm this close. And she talking about, well, I could go for a pizza too. And I'm like,
Of course. She can
that,
always go for pizza.
I was like, that does not help me. You supposed to say, oh, well, it's doing really
Right.
good. Keep going. Don't worry about it.
She's definitely your enabler.
And
Her
I
own
was,
enabler.
and then we both got pizza, so that was that. But
Dang.
I'm going. That was just I'm gonna call that my cheat day or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Everything is good. And I think it's always good to have moderation because if you don't have moderation, then when you do give in, you binge it and you just overeat whatever you're like craving. So like I feel like you should definitely have like a mixture of like, you know, a favorite snack you have. Like you shouldn't like deprive yourself or quit it completely because that will like make it kind of hard for you when you do like have those like cheat days and stuff. That's why I feel like. I feel like
Yeah,
if you're trying to like go on a diet and you haven't been on one in a while, if you're it's not that's not a good way to you have to kind of ease your way into it, you know, like gradually stop eating this stuff. Don't just like quit it completely.
yeah. And I had just right now, this was a live first test, and I had because I had went to the store this morning. I was trying to find some like healthy drinks, substituting the soda and juice and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this coconut pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know if it's juice or water flavored, but And I tried one time to drink coconut water, and I didn't really like it like that. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
because this had pineapple in it, it might be a little better. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem like not drinking soda or juice. Unless I'm like eating like something like a meal that's very, very heavy. Like if
mm,
I'm eating like a really, really heavy meal or a meal that's like very like fried, I feel like I have to have a soda to like, you know, make myself burp or something like that. But for me, like if there it's not hard for me to not drink soda as long as there's no soda
yeah,
in the house. As long as there's no soda or juice in the house and I just have bottled water, that's fine for me because bottles of water. The only reason I drink so much water is because if it's in a bottle, I can just grab it. I don't have to pour it in a cup. That's just because I'm lazy, but I don't have to pour it in a cup, put ice in there. I can just grab it and drink it. That's what I like about water bottles. So if
I
they had soda and Sprite in water bottles, then we would have a
it's
problem.
over.
And then, because like with water bottles, like I can close it and I don't have to worry about spilling it or anything like that. I can just throw it in my bag when I want to go somewhere. It's just very convenient for me. That's why I drink a lot of water.
Right, right,
And
yeah,
because of course I like water, whatever. It's thirst quenching. It's just very convenient. You just grab a water versus
right,
getting a soda or getting a glass and stuff like that. Like,
yeah. At this point, I don't even recall like the last time I drank a soda. At this point,
hmm
because and usually the only thing I drink, because I got regular water here, and I like room temperature water, so I just keep water in my room, and then I keep water in the kitchen just on the counter as room temperature, just so they both places. But the last time, um, the last time I had a soda, like, I can't even remember. The closest thing I'll get to a soda is maybe a ginger ale.
hmm
Um, but usually outside of water, the only thing I drink is probably like a green tea. Every once in a while, I get like a craving for like, Sonics. They have like those limeade type drinks. I like those every once in a while. But yeah, green tea is supposed to be healthy.
hmm
So I feel like I'm doing pretty good. It's just the food, the food sometimes with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I've been. Other than that, creatively, I've wrote down some ideas of some stuff I want to do. Um, so that's good. I'm always coming up with ideas, but again,
hmm
just the execution part is sometimes a challenge. But I have some
Yeah.
pretty good stuff. So stay tuned. So to my social media, and I'll be putting out some content, additional content pretty soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Um, I wanted to talk about just like any like this recent celebrity news that's been going on. Well, let's just start off with the Grammys was yesterday. No, the day before yesterday, I think. I don't know.
Was
It was
Beyonce
recent.
there?
No, I don't think she wasn't there. Um, but
I feel like I
I
would have
didn't
known that. Never mind.
um I didn't watch it either. I just watched like clips and stuff because
Mm-hmm.
they said overall the show was kind of boring and like I don't really care about the Grammys anymore. Like because like the music, like it's like the music that everybody got. I'm glad. I feel like it was a good night for Black women. I'll say that because I feel like a lot of Black women took home awards, which is great. There was a lot less snubs and stuff like that. You know, people that won. There's most people that won like they should have got it. There were some like there were some snubs in there, but There was a lot of
Like,
good take homes and stuff like that. But I did like Lil Nas X, his performance. His performance is really good. Um, I just don't feel like the Grammys really matter. Like I feel like there's with the Grammys, I feel like there's less options like for music. Like certain like for certain categories, like whoever's winning, the category is just like, okay, well you won, but it's just like there's not really a lot of people putting out music, like especially like those heavy hitters that we used to have. Like there's not a lot of people like taking those home, like, and it's been replaced kind of with people that are kind of mediocre, I feel like. And
mm,
it's just not the same because like back like maybe 5 6 years ago you had Beyonce, Rihanna, and Nicki Minaj could be all in the same category. So it's just like, dang, who's taking home this? Or Beyonce and Jay-Z being in the same category or something like that.
mm-hmm,
So it's just like, dang, that's tough. Like, or like you had like a lot of strong people in one category, so you know whoever won was really like the best, or it
right,
just meant a lot. It meant more because they won out of all these other good people. But it's just like if you won and there's like y'all kind of on the same level, or everybody else is kind of like not that good, in my opinion. Then it's just like, it's just like it feels less special and monumental. Um, I was watching this TikTok about how this lady was saying how a lot of times like artists are like mislabeled when it comes to their genre of music because Tyler the Creator won Best Rap Album, I think, and he said on the album like it's not really a rap album. It doesn't really sound like rap. A lot of his music is kind of like alternative and stuff like that, but because he's black, they just put him in hip hop, you know. Um, which sucks because it's like we could be in so many more um genres across the board.
mm-hmm.
So it just sucks. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I feel like uh the Grammys a while back were like a big thing because you didn't have that much access to celebrities, and I feel like now you can just look on your phone and see everything about a celebrity,
Mhm.
what they're doing, how they look. So,
Yeah.
people used to watch award shows and say, "Oh, so and so gonna be there." Well, I guess Beyonce would still fit into that because she's not that visible. But people, I
Hmm.
guess, like someone like a Megan Thee Stallion. Like I feel like back in early 2000s, like if she existed, we wouldn't know that much about her, and then it'll be like hyped up, like, "Oh, Megan gonna be there." You get to see
Hmm.
them. But now you
Yeah.
just see them all the time, so it's not like a
Yeah.
big thing.
It's like overexposure.
And also, in the era of YouTube and Instagram and things like that, we
Hmm.
have people, just normal people who review music and who give takes on music, and it's
Hmm.
not so much about the opinion of people who run the
Right.
Grammys. We now have our own voices, and
Right.
and value in that versus people telling us what's hot.
Yeah.
Well, certain people telling us what's hot.
Hmm.
So
Right.
that plays a part into it too, and which is kind of a good thing, I feel like, because when you rely on one organization to do something like that, that's how like those labels get put on us. We as black people and as the culture know that Tyler may not be a rap, so we can say, oh well, he's a great alternative hip hop like
Hmm.
type artist. If we rely
Yeah.
on people like the Grammy, they're just gonna what's it called? They just gonna what's it called when hold on, like put you in a box, like they just gonna
Generalize you.
that too, yeah. Um, so yeah, it's good that we can kind of create our own, you know, ideas and not rely on just a certain group of people.
Right.
And but yeah, award shows, period. Even like the even black on like BT, like those type of things, award shows, period, have gone down because I think it's because we have so much access. People
Hmm.
aren't really just waiting to see an award show to see someone. You can see them
Yeah.
anywhere. Um,
Yeah.
so that's just my views on that.
Um, yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like we have like a lot of access to like celebrities now and they're less like discreet. and I think it just made award shows overall kind of boring. And that like takes me back to like last week with the slap with Will Smith because I feel like another reason not and because it was at the Oscars too because maybe if he did that at the VMAs or something it would have been a big deal. But I feel like celebrities don't do crazy stuff like that anymore because
Right.
they feel like they have too much to lose because you can really get the difference between how it used to be is like say if you do something crazy in an award show that will hype up your career that'll make people
Like
like you even
Kanye and Taylor.
yeah, it's like a love hate kind of thing. They hate that you did it, but there's like it still helps your career in a way. Even though that certainly did hurt Kanye a lot, but I guess the way he is, his music is really good, so he can back that up and save himself and save his career or whatever.
And it's almost
Will
like people didn't lose brands and stuff back then, like
Yeah, yeah,
endorsements
and
and
it's
stuff.
right because then a lot of celebrities now are also artists, but they're also influencers. So they have like to keep their brand deals and stuff like that. So that's what I don't really like about it now, because like now you don't really get a show at the award show. Like it's just
Too
like they
safe.
handing out, yeah, they just handing out the awards and you perform, and you may like hope maybe something happened at the performance, maybe that the performance is really good. That's pretty much all people have to like hope for is that it's a really good performance. But like I feel like with Will Smith, like that's like the first time in a while we've seen someone do something really, really crazy at an award show.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like speaking of that, like I feel like the aftermath, like last week, my thoughts haven't really changed too much about it. I just have stuff to add because after a week, it takes time to process and
Hmm.
stories develop, and I feel like it really caused one. It just really caused a lot of chaos, like just between black people and white people. It just caused a chaos. Like I didn't think it was gonna be a big black versus white thing, but apparently it is. Um, I just feel like, well, one, I feel like I don't want to say that he shouldn't have hit him. I just feel like it was just kind of I just very very unexpected and shocking,
Hmm.
I guess.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't really feel bad for either one of them. Like I don't feel bad for Chris
Yeah.
Rock that much. I don't feel that bad for Will Smith because
According
I
to
mean,
his show, Everybody Hates Chris. He been going through that his whole life.
right. So
All I sometimes like what popped up in my head was like that little white dude with the red head on Everybody Hates Chris who was bullying him around all the time. But anyway,
hmm
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, like I know he having the time of his life right now. But like I feel like um what am I about to say? I feel like dang, I forgot what I was about to say.
Sorry, sorry.
But
You were saying you didn't feel bad for
oh yeah, I don't feel bad for either one of them because I mean they're just gonna go and cry in their little $1 million mansion and get therapy for whatever. Like it's just like I don't know if people feel so bad for them. I mean I don't want Will Smith. The only thing I don't want is like his career to end because of this. I don't feel
yeah.
like that's fair. Like I don't feel like he should be completely ostracized. And I feel like white people they can they can think they cancel Will Smith, but if black people don't want to cancel Will Smith, Will
We
Smith is not going
control
to get canceled.
everything.
Right. If he will have a career, if anything, because of us, because we're the one who are absorbing all the content, talking about it,
That's true.
and being influencing content and telling people what we want, and like we're more influential, I feel
Yeah.
like. And
Yeah, definitely.
Will Smith is a part of our community, so I feel like we're going to support him, regardless if he slapped him or not, like
And we feel him on that because at the end of the day, Chris made a joke about a black woman, and I feel like he should have known better than that because someone brought up the point about he had made that movie about hair, like good
yeah,
hair and that like that.
right.
So he should have some understanding. And then they were saying that they started saying about other people wrote the joke and da 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 da. He didn't think it was that serious, but I'm just like, come on. Like I wonder, like if you host or present an award or something like that, and someone has something for you to say and you don't agree with it, what happens?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
what is that
yeah.
process?
Um, I feel like I don't think necessarily if Chris Rock, I mean, I feel like all that speculation. And it's like that's why I don't really it's like, okay, they were like, oh well, Chris Rock, he didn't mean it, he didn't know. Okay, well let me hear that from Chris Rock's mouth. He's silent right now. So until I hear that from his mouth, then I mean
He
I'm gonna go
trying
from
to
what I saw.
he trying to ride out
And,
them ticket sales.
right. And it's like another thing is like I and people were like, oh, Chris said he didn't know. When did Chris say he didn't know that he like people like no, but Jada and then it's like another thing that's making me mad about the situation is because people don't like Jada Pinkett Smith because of whatever X, Y, and Z, and they were like, yeah, Jada Pinkett Smith looked at Will and told him to go up there. Were you sitting next to them and heard her say that? Because I didn't see that. I didn't see that clip.
And I don't think she would say that from just
Right.
knowing seeing what I've seen of her.
And like that's another aspect of it where it's like Jada this is like Jada made him do that and that she is the cause for all of his problems. Like
Dog.
and it's like she's not because and it's like why is their past sexual relationship being brought up right now? Like I mean, I get if maybe if we'll act out our emotion because stuff has been bottling up inside is understandable, but he's had a long life and Jada has not been a part of his life since he's been born. He grew up with an abusive father. You know, I'm sure that's a lot of trauma from that. So I mean, I feel like you should sit there and blame Jada for everything that he's going through.
Being a
She's
black
only
woman.
she's one aspect of his life. And I feel like they both agreed to have an open relationship. And I feel like if Will Smith does not want to be a part of that, then he has every right to leave. But I feel like, this one creator said like black men hate black women who aren't just like the staple for what they think a wife should be, like conservative, quiet, blindly led by them. And Jada Pinkett Smith is pretty much the complete opposite of that. She has her own opinion. She's very open about her sexuality. She has her own voice. She doesn't let Will Smith talk over her. She doesn't stop her life for him. She's clear about what she wants, her needs, and she's open about that. And I love that about her. Like, and people seem to hate that so much, and I just don't understand why. Like, well, I understand why, but it's just like, dang, like she's just speaking her mind, and then it's
Right.
like it's like every time she says one thing, people drag it out. Like, people really drag it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she'll say, oh, like she'll say one thing that Will Smith doesn't. She'll say one thing that she doesn't like that Will Smith does, and it's like, oh, Jada doesn't appreciate anything. Will just need to move on and do better than Jada. Like, who are you to be telling Will Smith what he need to do?
Period.
Clearly, that's who he want to be with. Whether he don't like the stuff she do or not, they both decided to be in that relationship. That's my thing. Whether I'm not saying I'm no Jada Pinkett Smith stan or nothing. I'm just saying I know right versus wrong, and
Right.
I mean I just feel like people don't like her because she's not kissing his feet. Like that's what I hate. Like why I gotta sit like why do I have to prove that? It's like black women have to do so much to prove that we're worthy of love. And it's just like, just because I'm not this idea of what you think a wife should be or what a marriage should be doesn't mean I don't deserve love
Right.
or I don't deserve Will Smith. Okay, Will Smith, okay, he actor, he do his thing, but that's her husband to him. That's just her husband. Like she's known him for a long time. So it's just like
And
I don't
like if
care.
you talk to everyday couples, they're gonna have something smart or maybe something humorous to say about their spouse. Like I
Yeah.
feel like just because they're
Right.
celebrities, like they just go overboard with it. I feel like most people, most couples, especially if they've been together a super long time, they gonna almost kind of roast each other. They gonna kind of like find something to say about one another.
Right.
It's not all gonna be just like the perfect union, you
Right.
know.
And I feel like with Will Smith, like I feel like because he's like seen as like pretty much like the king and of all black movies and just like we look at up to him like such like with a high like we think very highly of him in the black community. And I feel I mean like I said, I don't have no super attachment to any celebrity because wrong is wrong and right is right. And I feel like just because he's Will Smith doesn't mean I have to break my neck and act like I'm his servant. He's not God.
Yeah,
Like,
and
he's just
especially
Will Smith. He's an actor. He's a man. And I mean, so what? Like, I don't care who you are. Like, I shouldn't have to change myself or be less than just because you're Will Smith. I'm Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, what?
exactly. I was just gonna say, and to him, and to her, she just like a regular person because she be in movies too. Like,
Right, right. And like, it's like people don't understand, like, that's their relationship. Like, you have to do what works for you. It may not work for the next person, but I mean, clearly whatever they're doing has been working for them. And it's just like, just because, and I feel like just a lot of people are projecting how they feel onto Will Smith. Like, Will Smith has never said that he dislikes anything that Jada really does or says, and it's like
hmm
they seem very,
and he
very
said
open.
he say that over and over.
Right.
He corrects them over and over.
Right. And it's like people are purposely blindly looking at the videos where he's saying like, hey, I'm in open relationship, like, and it's just like the fact that we're talking about that is really has nothing to do with the whole slap situation that I know of. And it's just like, I don't know. I just didn't like that aspect of it where we were like bullying black women. And also like people were saying, Will Smith, he did that for, and I don't want to make him like he's a villain or anything. I feel like, I want him to have a good career. I like Will Smith, but I feel like, he didn't really necessarily do the whole slap thing for black women or whatever. I feel like he did that more so because he was dealing with something. Of course, he was overwhelmed with emotion, but he didn't do that as a way to protect black women. He protected his wife, which is good. But I don't want black women to feel like, oh, Will Smith is just all for us and stuff like that. Because I mean, you never really know. I mean, he
Yeah.
did that. He did that for his wife. And especially with that situation back with the original Aunt Vivian, like all the drama they had. And so it's just like he's had to do a lot of growing and healing over his career. And he's very like he said before on Red Table Talk that he has like an ego that he feels like he has to feel sometimes. Like I think Jada was talking about how she had a 40th birthday party or something, and in the Red Table Talk, Will Smith planned the 40th birthday party, and he was like, he's like, yeah, her 40th birthday party is gonna be my thing. It's gonna be I'm gonna make it a big
I can
deal. It's
see
gonna,
him being like that too.
yeah, and it's just like it's her birthday. Why are you making it your thing? And then she said to him like that was like the biggest display of your ego, like because you were making it like it was for me, but it was about you.
hmm
And that's kind of person Will Smith is, and he has had to work on that his whole life in their marriage.
hmm
So and that's what bothers me about people is because they haven't seen that. They're very ignorant to the real stuff about marriage, and there's a lot of stuff I probably don't know about the marriage still, but you gain a lot of insight from watching those red table talks and stuff like that. So
But they
that's why I
don't want
just
to
hate.
watch that. They just want to make up what they
Right,
want to make up. Just like when they had
right.
something else they were saying about Jada, and I think it had something to do with like Will bed performance in bed or whatever.
Mhm.
And Jada was on Twitter and was like, I never said X, Y, and Z. Make sure you watch Red Table Talk, and we'll talk about it. But don't anybody want to watch that. They just want to say what they want to say.
Right, right. And then it's like something I'll see comments like, yeah, he instead of slapping Chris Rock, he should have slapped Jada for cheating on him. Like, whoa.
Oh, so now y'all promoting domestic violence.
Right. Like, so if I cheat on you, have to get beaten up. Like, and it's just like I feel like it's almost like kind of like for a black woman that's, struggling with whatever Jada's been dealing with, a black woman is like almost kind of like how dare you? Like how dare you cheat on Will Smith? Like that's Will Smith. You don't cheat on him. Like
He could
especially if you're
probably
a
be
black
really
woman.
annoying at home.
I don't know. I don't
I'm
know,
just
but
saying, like, you know how some people like, say for instance, like you go to work and you put on this version of yourself, but when you get out
yeah.
inside, like you could be really annoying or like just weird and
Hmm.
whatever. Like I feel like he may, not that I know, but like I feel like he could probably just do annoying stuff. And Jada sometimes seems to me like she's easily
Really chill.
irritated,
Yeah.
or like even when she roll her eyes or whatever, like I could just see her
Yeah. She
like,
does.
you know. So you never know how people really are outside of what they
Yeah.
present.
Yeah. And I just feel like that's just like it's just not right to me. Like I don't know. I don't like stuff like that. And I feel like and I want to make it clear like I don't think there's nothing wrong with loving and honoring your husband and being in a monogamous relationship, and there's nothing wrong with traditional marriages. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like, you know, you shouldn't have to change your opinion for a man or change anything about yourself for a man, you know? And I feel like, if it's been clearly made this is what you want, then that's okay. Like, and if it works for y'all, then that's fine. Like, I don't see people don't get about that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But something else I wanted to talk about was there's a situation on the Shade Room
Mm.
with G Herbo, he's a rapper, and his two baby mothers, Ari and Taina or something. Taina? I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Hmm.
But basically he has a son with each of them, and the oldest one is with Ari. Um, and his oldest son name is Yoshan, I think. And basically Yoshan accused his like new girlfriend of hitting him or whatever because he had like a scratch on his knee, I think. And I think there was a lot of back and forth on like Twitter and like IG stories and all that going between the two moms. And basically, Ari, the mother of the oldest Yoshan, she basically had recordings of him saying the things that were happening to him. And for me personally, I don't want to like make any assumptions, but everyone was saying how they believe Yoshan for that he was hit or whatever by the other girlfriend. And which is like I don't really know what happened or not. I'm not really assuming that, but it's like for me, I couldn't even hear what he was saying in the audio message. I was like, "Yeah, you heard him. You heard where he was saying." I was like, I can't even hear what he says in the little audio message." But it made me think because there was conversation on TikTok about like how a lot of times we don't really believe kids when they say the stuff is happening to them. And I don't really know what the truth is with that situation, but it just made me think how like a lot of times in the black community when a kid says something is wrong or something's going on, like no people would just be like, oh, that's just
Brush
him
it off.
talking. Yeah, they just brush it off or they don't really like take in like what they're trying to say. Like and that's like sad to me because that's how a lot of like you see a lot of kids getting like molested at a young age and sexually abused and stuff. It's because they just shrug it off, which I think is sad.
Yeah. It is. I feel like, people feel like if you don't reveal anything, you don't have to deal with anything.
Right.
I feel like so people just kind of don't. It's uncomfortable for people, so they just try to like, and because the kid is a child, they feel like they have the authority to, you know, um, kind of like, just dismiss what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and and don't worry about it. But those type of things have lasting effects on children,
Yeah.
and it just ends up like when they're older, maybe sometimes manifested into new issues, and then like it's just a domino effect when it comes to
Yeah.
that. And I think anytime a child says something happened to them, they should at least, like, some people just brush off immediately, like, no, you get it like
Right.
that. But I feel like they should at least take time to at least hear the child out,
Yeah.
because a child, for the most part, is I feel like they're not gonna make up, just anything
Right.
like that. So if they
Right.
say something, you should at least hear them out fully, maybe ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then if you're not sure on how to deal with it, maybe talk to somebody else about it,
Mm-hmm.
or get advice. It's people that, like, professionals that can help in those type of situations.
Yeah.
But people don't bother to do that.
Right. Yeah. I just thought that was so like that was just so weird. Like like think about how people just always just shrug off like child abuse and stuff like that, and it's like just to like keep the abuser like around even more.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they just do it to cause less drama or less trouble and stuff like that. And that's like, why are you doing that at the expense of your own kid?
Right.
Like if my child tells me something, I'm believing them at first off. And I'll probably depending on how serious the accusation is, I'll go and ask the person. But if it's like something very like sexual or something like that, then I'm immediately cutting that person off. I don't care who it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I feel about the situation.
Yeah.
Um, I know one thing, just like a little topic, just off topic. But I wanted to ask, like, because I was talking to someone the other day, and I was like, would you be okay with like your spouse like living in another house than you? Like you're married, but you live in separate homes. Like, would you be okay with that?
Uh, like what's this? Why? Like it's
Well,
just
a lot of people live in different homes for different reasons, but sometimes people genuinely enjoy having their own space, like their own home. I was watching this episode of Tia and Tamara, their reality show, and her husband were moving in together, and she was just struggling. Tamara was struggling, leaving her studio apartment because that's like her first studio apartment that she bought with her money. And she had so many memories there, and she grew like an attachment to her home, and she just had anxiety about meshing like her style with her husband's style.
well,
So, and she was just like, and I don't necessarily mean you don't have to never see each other. Like he can come over
yeah.
spend the night for a long time, and you go to his place in the night. And if you can't really necessarily mesh, your lifestyles,
I don't
um,
think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's actually kind of a neat idea because sometimes I think about like I hate snoring. I hate snoring. Hate it. Like it's the worst. And I just like I don't see myself forever every night like having to deal with that. Like that is just like ugh. And but then I think about like how some people like their home cold, some people like their home warm. Like there's a lot of there's I see
yeah,
where it could work. Well, I see why someone would want or a couple would want to do that, just
mhm,
because sometimes there's just differences. Like one person could be like I guess messy, and then the other person like super
mhm,
like OCD and clean.
yeah.
So I.
Um, Howie Mandel from
Mhm,
America's Got Talent, he has OCD, like actually like diagnosed OCD, where he needs everything to be actually clean.
mhm.
And like every time he meets someone, he has to like completely like isolate himself and like
I
into
thought
like a
you was gonna
clean
say
space.
clean them.
Not clean them, but clean himself. And he has a whole separate home away from his family and children where he goes where he's having like kind of like a
Yeah,
panic attack, where
yeah,
and
that
it's
makes
like
sense.
super clean there.
Mhm.
So yeah. And like there's always like a trust aspect of it that was like brought up. And I feel like, just the way I feel about my relationship is like, I feel like if I can't trust you
I
to
was just
live in
gonna
a
say
whole
that.
nother house,
Hmm.
then I feel like we shouldn't be together. I
Yeah,
feel like we shouldn't be together. If I can't trust you, we shouldn't be together. And I get,
because what you gonna do,
people,
you gonna do it. Period.
right. And that's how I feel. I feel like if I'm ever having doubts and I feel like, I don't know if I can trust this person living long distance or living with them, you should not be with that person.
Hmm.
If you ever have a feeling that, oh, this person might cheat on me, then you
I
should not be
agree.
with them.
I
You
agree.
should not be with them. Like, and that's what I feel like a problem in relationships is today, because people are both women and men are both very manipulative to try to get the person to do what they want, so they make up all these rules in a relationship. Oh, we can't do this to prevent cheating and all that. The only thing that should be preventing cheating is yourself. You shouldn't have to live with me or be over here or wear this outfit to not cheat. You should just not want to cheat, period. It shouldn't matter what you have on, where you are, you shouldn't be cheating if you want a monogamous relationship with someone.
Right.
So that right there, that's a red flag. If you feel like you got to control someone and put them over here and control what they do and have like a set rule to prevent something from happening that could just happen anyway, whether the rules can be broken or they can just do what they want when you're not around. So it's
So
just like that's why I just feel like why what's the point of that? You just if you feel like there's a trust thing and you shouldn't be with the other person. That's my whole thing.
let me
Um,
ask you something then. So how do you feel about like the guys that have the girl best friend, or they have a lot of, female friends? Does that fall
um,
into that category?
well, for me, I feel like if you had the girl best friend before we started dating, then I mean, I have to either choose to either stay or go
Mhm.
because I mean, I feel like I can't necessarily come into your life and remove people. I don't feel like that's fair to you.
Mhm.
And if I get there and I don't feel like I like the relationship between you and the girl, then I have to make that decision to leave. But if I choose to stay, then I shouldn't be. I won't say that I can't say anything about it, but it's just like you already see what they got going on. So I don't feel like you can sit there and be mad at what they got going on now that you've decided to stay.
Mhm.
I feel like you can have one conversation with him about how you feel, and then whatever his response, that you need to make it. That's your decision where you need to stay or go.
Mhm.
For me personally, I don't like the whole girl best friend, guy best friend type of thing because I ask guys pretty often, like, so do you feel like your girl best friend has to be attractive? And all the guys that I asked have said yes. Like my girl best friend has to be like attractive. They may not have said it like flat out that way, but he was like,
Basically, it's yes.
yeah, like someone they have to be attracted to them. So it's just like if that's your friend, why do you feel like you have to be attracted to them?
Mhm.
That's already like
Mhm.
it's like it makes me think like either y'all have already had sex or you secretly want to.
Mhm.
And it's like they want to necessarily not just guys, maybe girls too. But for me personally, I don't have a lot of guy best friends. And the very few that I do have, I rarely talk to on a daily basis. Like they're more so like my old school friends.
Mhm.
I don't really think I've had no guy friend that it was never sexual or they didn't try to like holler at me or anything like that. Like it's always I don't have one. I don't think I may have like one or two like that, and I never talk to them. But they're cool. But it's not like I text them every day. I call them. It's not like that. And I won't say that's not possible, but I feel like if there's an underlying attraction between the two, then that would make me uncomfortable, whether y'all have done something or planning on doing something or not. Because it makes me feel like if y'all had the chance to, y'all would. And it's just like if you're attracted to her and y'all are best friends, then why don't you just be with her in the first place? What's keeping y'all from being together if y'all can call each other best friends and the attraction is there?
Right.
So that would make me uncomfortable. I wouldn't like it, but I mean it just depends.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Um, the best friend thing, like I feel like it's a cover up, especially if the girl is like overly with the best friend, da 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 da, like
Yeah,
how some of them do. But yeah, the best fear thing. I mean, like I understand. Like sometimes it depends on, I guess, like what line of work he does, because sometimes you can't help but know a lot of
yeah,
people depending on what
yeah,
you do. Um, but for the most part, that super close, da 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 da. I talk to this person on the phone because, like you said, if that's the case, then what's keeping a relationship from happening? But yeah, I'm just kind of like, just be respectful, and you shouldn't. If I'm your girl, then you really shouldn't want to be with this other person more than
yeah.
me. Like, I'm confused. So
Right.
yeah, nah, it's the
It's
best friend
odd.
thing.
No, this is your sister or your mom, then you don't really need no new best friends. And it's like for me, it's like I don't want a guy friend. Like I feel like the way men are in friendships, they're very like they don't really like they don't get too close with their friends like as far as like emotionally like they keep them around when they want to do something like together. That's I feel like that's how guy friends are. Like guys in their friendships like they use I don't say use their friends. But like when they're with their friends, they're always doing something. Like
Mhm.
they're playing the game, they're smoking, or they're going out somewhere, they're going out to the club, whatever dudes do. I don't know, fill in the blank. They're doing whatever they do, and that's what their friends are for. But women, like, we use like our friendships to vent and like talk to each other and like emotional support, and we really want we expect in our friendships, we want us we show up we need to show up for each other, like
Mhm.
we really be there in our life, like for everything, like really bump I have like a sisterhood in a way. And I feel like, necessarily guys can't really have that, don't have that, but it's like it's not
Maybe it
a
depends on
necessity.
the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very just like, I don't want to say closed off, but very just kind of like distant in a way, distant but close. Like they still have that bond and that loyalty as friends, but only to do so with like on not as like, and not in an emotional way. Like they don't expect them to like, talk on the phone all night and like and stuff like that. Like it's just different.
That would be hilarious to see that. Like maybe
Um,
on a show or something.
so that's why I don't really feel like I would need a guy friend in my life, because whenever I talk to a guy about an issue, it's just like, that's tough, or like, and it's like I feel empty. I feel worse talking to a man about my problems most of the time, depending on who it
Mm.
is.
Okay, wait. Let me pause. Let me pause because I want to give another side to that. Like sometimes I have received very, very great advice from guys, like just about a situation. So that's why I say it depends on the guy, or
Yeah,
maybe their age, or different
yeah,
factors. Because sometimes, especially like um, when it comes to just like relationships or careers. Like
mhm,
for me, my experience, guys can be like very motivating. Like if I talk about like a goal or something that I have, and
mhm,
say, hey, well, I was thinking about doing X, Y, and Z, or maybe I'm unsure about something, and
mhm.
sometimes they come with their perspective, oh well, da 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 da, and like
Yeah.
sometimes their advice can be more motivating than a girl. It just depends on the
They give
person.
very logical advice. Like
Yeah.
they're always coming from a logical standpoint. So I mean, I
Mhm.
feel like if you were talking about money or business and stuff like that, then they're all up for that. They love talking about money and stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
great. But I'm an emotional person, so my 9 times out of 10, my problems tend to be emotionally driven.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of like, I'm a Scorpio, so Scorpios, like, we already know, like, and we don't care. And as far as like business wise, money wise, I already know what I got going on. I really don't need a man's advice on that. And if
Mhm.
I ask you, I probably think really highly of you. But it's like once I already got an idea in my mind, I kind of already know what I want to do. And I'm probably not gonna ask you. And I'm probably gonna, and if like you tell me about it, it's like it's gonna annoy me because I already know what I want to do.
Mhm.
Um, but for me, it's like most of my issues are 9 times out of 10 emotionally driven, especially if I'm talking to you on the phone about it
Mhm.
and I'm asking you your opinion, then it's probably something emotional. The only time I probably ask something that's not emotional is if I have no idea about the situation or something like that. Then I ask somebody who I think knows about that. But that's how I said it depends on the situation or what you need help with.
Mhm.
But guys are definitely more logical, and they're more stable driven. Like they think about things like kind of realistically.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's weird
but
because sometimes they want you to think like them, especially I guess when it comes to
yeah,
like dating or something or
yeah,
whatever. And if you're talking about a situation, because sometimes guys just like to chime in, even if you're not
yeah,
talking to them. Like you could be talking to your homegirl or whatever, and they hear it and they're like, oh
hmm,
well. This guy, he's thinking da 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 da. Da. Although I feel like sometimes relationship women look to other women for relationship advice. And I feel like sometimes that shouldn't be that way. I feel like sometimes
yeah,
we should go to the guys because they are the guys. They know how the guys are thinking. And that's why
yeah,
sometimes I like to watch or listen to the podcast from guys because they kind of give you
hmm,
their mindset on stuff. And
yeah.
it's you know It's beneficial. I think. I feel
I
like a
do
lot of
too.
times people. I feel like a lot of times women push guys off like what they got to say, about
I'm one of
situations.
those.
But sometimes I think we can benefit from hearing them.
Yeah. I definitely think like their opinions are valid. And I always love like hearing I enjoy hearing guys' perspectives on certain things too.
Mhm.
Just not about like a personal decision that I'm going to make.
Mhm. Yeah.
And as far as when it comes to dating, I feel like dating now, like I feel like when guys give you advice on dating, I feel like it's not necessarily manipulative, but it's like, oh well, you have to do this to get this result. And I don't like that. Like, I mean, I get they're giving you their honest opinion because I mean, a girl will ask, "Oh, how do I get a guy to do X, Y, and Z?" So they'll tell you this is how you get a guy to do X, Y, and Z. But I feel like that whole approach to dating is wrong because um, if you have to get the guy to do something, then that's a red flag. Like, you shouldn't
Yeah.
have to get them to do anything. If you have to manipulate in any way like to get and something out of a guy, then I feel like that's kind of wrong because either you're changing something about you have to change something about what you do or what you would want to do, or you're trying to get him to change himself or something that he want or something that he wants to do, which
But
I think is kind of weird.
do you think that that falls back on the woman if she asks that because she's
Yeah. But I feel like 9 times out of 10, that's like the guy's gonna give you that kind of advice anyway, because
mm,
they'll be like, oh, well, guys don't date girls who do this, or guys don't date girls who do that. So it's
mm,
just like, okay, well, then it's like forcing me to like kind of change yourself. That's why I feel like you
mm,
just need to be with someone who is not that hard, where you don't have to
mm,
try, you don't have to manipulate them to do anything. It's just already what it is. You can just fix the issue by simply communicating.
right.
Um, which is sometimes, that works as well. I hear guys say that all the time, just be straightforward about what you want, which I feel like is the best advice I've heard from a guy is just, be straightforward about your issues. Um, and I've tried that before. I'll give you like an example. Because I was talking to this one guy about something, I forgot what it was. But I was like kind of trying to ask him to answer my question because you know how sometimes when you're texting a guy and they like to skip over certain questions,
Hmm.
and I kept asking him the question over and over again, and I was like, hey, da da da, and then he was like, he just kept sending me weird stuff or kind of skipping around the conversation, and he just gonna say, then he would say like, oh, you're just trying to argue, and I was like, actually, no, I'm not trying to argue. I just asked you a question. Like, I'm not angry at all. Like, I try to make that clear that I'm not trying to start anything. I just want you to answer the question I asked. Like, and then he was like, you're just mad. You're just trying to start an argument. No, I'm just asking you a question. Like, and I stuff like that happens all the time where it's like I'm trying to like just have a simple conversation or answer you a question, but you're trying to make it seem like I'm being upset or angry. Like, I hate stuff like that.
Yeah, usually in those cases it'd be something that they don't want to admit or talk about because it leads to something
Yeah.
maybe that they don't want to say. Also, I feel like some some things like depending on because I feel like I hate when people like generalize and say, group people together, whether it's men or women, because I feel like everyone is different. They're
Yeah.
not gonna everyone is not gonna give you the same uh experience. So
Right.
I just hate when people say, "Oh, well, guys, or girls," or even like the sign thing, because I feel like I know some other Pisces, and I'm nothing like them. And
Hmm.
it just I get that that can give you a basis for the
Hmm.
foundation, but sometimes when I meet people and they say, "Oh, well, you're a Pisces, so you're gonna do da 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 da," like literally before even spending any amount of time around me. So
Yeah.
I
I'm like super into astrology, and I get like people think it's like annoying because I feel like people don't like people making prejudgments about them. But I mean, a lot of Scorpios that I know, I see a lot of similarities. So I don't know. I can't speak. Maybe it's like a
Yeah.
Pisces thing
But that's what I'm
because like
saying. Everyone's different. So that may be
yeah,
your experience and that may be my experience and someone else may
yeah,
be totally different. And I just
yeah,
like it's just like from the gate, like, and after you spent some time with someone, of course you can kind of see,
yeah,
their trends and patterns, but from the
yeah,
gate, you should not be telling me I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
yeah. I feel like with like zodiac signs, I mean, it just depends. I mean, I don't feel like when people look at horoscopes, like it's always going to be a general reading. So, of course, I don't resonate with everything they say about my sign or anything like that, but you have to like look deeper into it. Of course, for your sometimes you can go for your exact date that you were born
Hmm.
or the month that you were born and stuff like that. Because I know like sometimes like for example, Pisces like um there's like three, I think like tiers when it comes to astrology. Like you have your first and second and third decan, which is like you know how you have Pisces season. So you have like the earlier part of the Pisces season. So those kind of Pisces will be kind of different from Pisces that are born later in the season.
Hmm.
So that's why sometimes you may see differences in your own people that are in your own zodiac sign because sometimes your personality can change just based off the time you were born, you know,
Hmm.
because it goes by your whole, you know, birth chart because everyone is different.
Hmm.
Um, but still, I feel like it's very, it can be extremely accurate.
Hmm.
And I mean, and I feel like, you know, there's people who think, you know, it's not real and stuff like that. I mean, you can think that, but then just don't read about it or whatever. But I mean, I do think it's very extremely accurate to me.
Hmm.
And I feel
Yeah.
like personally, like I think people like I read this one post like and it was like kids who are often misunderstood love astrology because it's the way to figure people out and an explanation for how you are, you know, it's like about you, you know, and and that's what I feel because I was feel like I was often misunderstood as a child and kind of just not necessarily misunderstood, but just people like put labels on me and put stuff on me that I didn't really feel like who I was. And it's like when I like discovered astrology and stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is who I am as a person. Like that's why I love it so much because it accurately describes me in a positive light, negative light, and it's in depth. But when I was younger, I didn't really know much about it, and people put stuff on me when I didn't was trying to figure out myself out. And so when you look into astrology, it's like, okay, here's like a map of everything of who I am, and it makes sense.
Hmm.
It's not just going off of what you see or who people think you are. Um, and not, and at the end of the day, like you know, don't let anything judge. Don't let anything tell you who you think you are. You know, not even astrology. If you know who you are as a person, you know, be proud of that. But I'm just saying astrology helped me, you know, understand myself more and understand other people.
Yeah.
Because it was just like you know, if you read it, if you know what it is, you know what I'm talking about. It just makes sense. But yeah, but that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um uh I think that was my last topic, I think. You said you had a question or something you
Oh.
said?
Yeah, I do. So I just kind of want to talk about, now that we're in the creator realm, how do you feel? Well, this is kind of like a three-part question. So I guess my first question would be like when you feel most creative. And for me, just to kind of give an example of what I mean, like for me, my most creative time is at night.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it gets nighttime, and maybe that has something to do with the Pisces thing, because that sounds like creativity. I've read a lot about that in correlation
Mm-hmm.
to Pisces. But when it's nighttime, and it's been like this forever, like maybe since middle school, um, I am most creative at night. Like I would think of ideas, I get motivated, my mind just starts to process stuff, and I don't know where that comes from, but so That's me. I'm most creative at night. So when do you feel you're most creative, or do you have a time where you're most
I don't think I have a specific time where I'm most creative, but I do feel like I have more energy at night. So if I do feel creative in any way, then I'm going to get that done during the nighttime,
creative?
whatever I want to get done. But I can feel kind of creative at any time. As long as I'm feeling inspired, then it'll kind of be in me for a while. But most of the time, if I am doing something creative, it's going to be evening, nighttime, something like that. Morning, I'm just, no, I'm just not a morning day person. Like,
Okay. Part two. Uh, so say you were to basically this is just about creators, and copyright or people just taking your work or your ideas or something like that. So, how do you feel about like say for instance you make a let's just say anything like a or let's say for instance a podcast. So let's say for instance you're on the podcast, you talk about a topic or whatever. Someone hears your podcast or listens to it, and then you go to their page or whatever, or their Twitter account or whatever, and they've tweeted the same thing that you said on the podcast, and you know that there's someone that listens to you, but they present it as like their original idea, just in any platform or any way they choose to. How do you feel about stuff like that?
it just depends if I'm making direct money off of it. Like if I was making a painting and then someone copied that, then I would have an issue with that. But if it was just something that I said, it just depends. Like if those words were in a book, or if those words were in a magazine, or on a slogan or something like that, then I have a problem with that. If I'm making money off of it, then I have an issue with it. But I mean, if I'm just talking, then it's just like, hey, I feel like people gonna do that. Then I would get tired from literally defending myself because people are gonna
Be like
constantly,
Soldier Boy.
yeah, like I don't think I honestly not get tired of that because I feel like you'll see the same meme floating around three different, social media apps. You'll see people take stuff from a post from Facebook and put it in their TikTok like they said it. So it's just like, I mean, I won't necessarily, I would be like, okay, hey, that's mine. But it's just like, I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like with that, it's like, hey, that person is getting, clout from whatever I said off for like a little 30-second video or a tweet or whatever. So I mean, it's like for me, I'm the originator of that. I'm the one who's coming up with the idea and the humor or whatever behind whatever I said. So I mean, it's just like I feel like sometimes for some stuff you have to just kind of take it as a compliment and as flattery and move on because you're gonna kill yourself trying to defend. Oh, this is mine. No, this is mine. This is mine. And I feel like unless there's some legalities or some money behind it, then you don't need to defend yourself. Because if it's not taking money in my pocket, then hey, at the end of the day, as long as you have to be confident and be self-aware and okay with yourself to say, hey, at the end of the day, I said it. I know I said it. The people in the podcast know I said it first. So
Well,
hey,
then what do you feel about like say for instance like with it being a growing podcast, startup podcast, and then the person that uses your content has a bigger platform, and then when they say it, like if they retweet it or whatever, and it gets like a million retweets and leads to like a whatever happens from that type of stuff.
I mean, at that point, then I really can't do anything.
Okay. Okay, I understand. All right. Well, that was because I saw that happen to someone on Instagram maybe, and I was just like, I think it's interesting. Like, I mean, I know there's nothing you can do. I was just wondering like, does it bother you or like that type
I
of
mean, it does bother me, but I mean,
yeah,
there's nothing you can really do.
right. Okay. I think that was really my only question for this particular pod. So you know, if there's nothing else, that'll wrap up episode 11. So again, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, subscribe, and share on social media. And we'll see you episode 12.